So I get asked all the time, what do I do if I've been arrested?
I know, I hear that too. And I always say fully cooperate, but don't speak to the police officers. Just ask for a lawyer. What's going to happen is you're going to get arrested, taken to the jail. Now, is a percentage of cases where they won't arrest you. They'll give you what's called a notice to appear, which is under the law. It's a paper arrest. You get a piece of paper saying you must show up in court. So they use their discretion not to take you to jail and book you. That's a small percentage of cases. Most of the time, you're going to get taken to the jail and have a first appearance the next morning and be able to be bonded out on the case.
Is there a situation where I wouldn't be able to bond out?
Really only for the most serious of crimes, and in particular murder, but otherwise under our U.S. Constitution, we always have a right to bond. The question is, what are going to be the terms and conditions of that bond?
That's where you come in.
Right, where we have to go in there and argue to the judge to make it reasonable so that our client can be released. And what the judge looks at is, are they a flight risk? And are they a danger to themselves or to others? And we have to convince the judge that they're not a flight risk and that they're not a danger. And then the judge will say, okay, I'll release you. Sometimes they put a monetary amount on it. Sometimes they put them on house arrest. Sometimes they don't require anything, just release them on the promise that they'll show up in court. And then the process begins. And no case ends at that first hearing, as you know. We have cases that last 3-4 months, and we have cases that last 3-4 years.
Yeah, no, I know that is just the beginning. And you don't just walk into a courtroom and have a trial immediately and get your case resolved. It takes a process.
Right. And that's where we handhold the client through that process, because there's so many different hearings. Like I just referenced, first appearances where they kind of do your bond and determine whether they, what you're going to be released on, what conditions you're going to be released on. But then there's all different names: status check, calendar call, case disposition, motion hearing. And we're the ones, as their lawyer, that handles all these hearings for our client. In fact, most of the time, they don't even need to show up.
That's the best part, is when you hire a private attorney like us, you don't even have to come to court. I have become friends with a lot of my clients because I spend so much time on the phone and in person with them that at the end of the day, we still keep in touch with each other.
Right. I think that's what separates criminal defense clinics from a lot of other firms, is the two of us and our entire team, we really care about our clients. And we don't just think of them as, a client. We think of them as someone we really care about and want to get a great result for, and fight really hard to protect them. And as a result, like you just said, they wind up being a friend for life. Really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Hopefully, their case gets resolved without a trial. 98% of cases don't go to trial, and they get resolved with either a settlement, like a plea negotiation, or possibly a dismissal. And occasionally they go to trial. But somewhere along that process, we know from our experience and our training how to navigate it to get them the best result and get them back up on their feet.
And that's what every attorney at our firm wants to do, is get to know their client, resolve the case in a way that's good for them for the rest of their life, and make a new friend.
Well, and also beyond the client. I mean, how many times have we spoken to their family, their spouse, even their children?
There's nothing scarier than being arrested and having your liberties at stake.
Right. And not only for our client, but for their entire family. In fact, sometimes I think it's harder and more scary for the family members than the individual that got arrested.
I think so too.